Hey, what's going on, everybody? You're watching DualShockers TV on DualShockers.com. We're here at PAX East 2012. I'm here with my good buddy Dan Sochan, checking out some Sleeping Dogs, a title that everybody's been building a lot of buzz about. Now, let's get it out of the way. Not necessarily a new title. It used to be a little title called True Crimes, and you guys have kind of reinvented it a little bit.
Yeah, so we're partnered with Square Enix London Studios working on the game, and we couldn't be more excited. They've got lots of experience working on open world titles, Just Cause, and they know what it takes to make a great combat system like they did in Arkham City.
So we were mentioning, but we had a chance to get some hands-on. I mean, if you wanted to partner with a couple of giants, those are the guys to do it.
Yeah, exactly, and the game started out as an original IP, and so the story, the narrative, nothing's changed. The brand True Crime was actually applied a couple years later, so we still maintain our original vision for the game.
So the beauty is that the game still, in essence, is itself, just kind of rebranded and remolded, and people like the Sleeping Dog name from what it sounds very cinematic, if you will.
Yeah, and I think that's what's really cool. We've heard that feedback a lot from people, and we've really put a lot of emphasis and focus on the game and bringing Wei, the main character, to life, and this very cinematic type story that really delves into what it's like to be an undercover cop in Hong Kong, dealing with Triads every moment, knowing you blow your cover and you're dead.
And now we were talking about it. There's moments in the game where you can make certain decisions. So it all ends into a certain storyline, but there are different ways. We called it kind of branching, if you will.
Yeah, on the gameplay side of things, at the end of each mission, there's a scoring system, and you get cop points or you get triad points. So the game is an open world game. We want you to play it however you want. You don't fail no matter what you do. But if you do, a big rampage and you're running over all the civilians, you're going to get pretty low cop points for that. So, but at the end, if that's what you want to do, fantastic. But it is possible to get the perfect score by combining, doing your job as a cop and not killing civilians, while at the same time doing what was expected of you as a triad.
Well, since you started talking about killing civilians, we had a chance to check out the fight mechanics. So I would categorize there's three main portions of Sleeping Dogs. You got the fighting melee, you got gunplay, and you got cars. The fighting was near and dear to my heart. There's a lot of contextual things in there. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we really wanted you to feel like you're an action hero. We had a lot of inspiration from Hong Kong cinema, John Woo films, the old Jackie Chan, Jet Li, and to give that feeling that you are this action hero. You're dropped in the middle of 15, 20 enemies, and you're using your environment around you, grabbing a frying pan, taking a guy, putting his head into the stove, smashing someone through a window. You're able to kind of do all those things. It keeps the combat really fresh and unique. And as well, we've got a really in-depth combat system using combos and grapples, a counter system as well. So there's a lot there to do, and as well, you can actually progress and learn more moves as the game goes on.
And something that I found unique, you actually have different types of enemies in there. So there, four that you mentioned.
Yeah, we have strikers, brawlers, grapplers, and then sort of the general fodder type enemies.
And Chuck Norris.
Yeah, exactly. And it allows you to not just be able to kind of mash on the same buttons and kind of mindlessly go through missions. The brawlers are going to block most of your attacks, so you've got to, fight them in a different way. The grapplers, the kind of big beefy guys, they're going to win anytime you try and lock them up. So you've got to be clever, stun them, and then kind of finish them off.
And of course, no John Woo inspired or themed homage has to be complete with gunplay. So there's a little bit of gunplay in here.
Yeah, there definitely is, and we've kind of got those really cool cinematic moments. You're leaping over something, it goes slow mo, and you've got the opportunity to sort of slow mo shoot some guys and kind of continue on. So we try to keep all the combat, the shooting as well, very fluid. So it's not about sitting back, camping, waiting enemies to kind of try and flank you. You're going at them. You're bringing the fight to them, and that's what you'd expect from an action hero.
And very impressive, we saw there's things, again, a lot of contextual things. You can have explosive materials that can explode behind enemies. There's parts where you need to jump and parkour. Parkour is big, especially with what we were discussing, the design of Hong Kong itself that's been integrated within the game.
Yeah, it's a beautiful and very multi-layered city, which really lends itself well to do sort of the free running or parkour, climbing over, vaulting, and again, it makes you that's what you expect a martial arts, expert to be able to do. Jump, slide along a table. At the end of it, finish it off with like a spin kick to a guy.
Anything else would be uncivilized, quite honestly.
Exactly.
And of course, vehicles are integrated within, and you guys do some pretty slick things. I mean, when I travel, I want to do what we did in the demo. We went from a motorcycle, hit A, jumped onto the back of a truck, and I just wanted to keep doing that for at least another couple hours.
Yeah, so we spent a lot of time on the vehicles as well. We've got a lot of racing experience on titles we've done in the past, and that's obviously, we have the free running, and that's one way to navigate the city. And then the other way is obviously cars, motorcycles. We've got boats as well. And, so there's races that you can choose to do. And we played that one mission. And then, like you mentioned, there's also the action hijacking. So you're driving, jump out from your vehicle, jump onto someone else, and kind of take over, commandeer their car.
Which is awesome, and now of course there's very rich progression. As you said, you can progress as far as the fighting system, and there are bonuses that you can get. You were talking about a Slim Jim mechanic, so that's going to help you out in the long run.
Yeah, and you can do some of the side missions that you do come sort of like favors in some cases. So you meet a guy, you do him a favor, and at the end he says, hey, wherever you are in the world, just call me and I'll bring you a car. So we act sort of as your car valet. So we really try and make the secondary content not just be sort of flavor, but in as much as possible kind of tie back into the overall core gameplay experience.
Make it build and just be in depth. And now, one thing that a lot of people are going to see this, and it's going to be released in North America, very Hong Kong style. The cars, the city, you're walking around, you hear people speaking Cantonese. Was that ever thought of as a kind of a risk, or did you guys always want to go full blown with that?
No, we always really wanted to go full blown with it. We were really inspired by films like the Infernal Affairs, the Election series, and so to kind of capture that and put the player in a setting that a lot of people have never been to, and almost give them a sense of culture shock, we thought was part of the story that we wanted to tell as well.
And it fits the character, the main hero fits very well into that. Again, the decisions he's making, you kind of feel more in depth with that. I mean, just the logo itself gives this kind of ominous theatric feel to it. So we're looking at summer 2012 right now.
Yes.
So now, one thing, are there any surprises, anything that somebody might not be looking for that, would separate it away from, let's say, like the GTAs of the world that might draw comparisons to?
Yeah, I think, we really spent a lot of time on those core mechanics like we talked about with the combat and making a really detailed system, the environmental attacks, the driving, the shooting, gunplay, as well, bring in the player progression so that from your character minute one is not the same later on. You're able to upgrade your clothing. Those actually have gameplay buffs as well. You can go through the world and purchase, a massage or a noodle bowl, and that'll give you a temporary buff as well, or a health regen. So
you get to buy massages, yeah, buddy.
So all of those things together, I think, really make for a really tight package, and the gameplay itself, the story itself, is a really compelling one. And we think that's going to really, intrigue a lot of players. Those are elements that often in open world games have been sort of neglected.
Well, I got to say, everything we've seen so far, Sleeping Dogs is looking phenomenal. Thank you very much. We really appreciate it. Guys, Sleeping Dogs is looking like a phenomenal game. True crime, we're going to forget about that. It's all about Sleeping Dogs, and we're out.